Hello and welcome to the Lightning War Podcast, your best source for in-war news live on the scene. This is episode 6. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Aiden.
We will be your reporters for this February the 3rd, and tonight we will be covering the recent conclusion of a nearly 5-month-long fight. Now we go to Aiden, live at Stalingrad, with the stunning results of this historic battle.
Thank you. The aftermath of this battle is unbelievable. The entire city has been turned to rubble, and the estimated casualties are staggering, with 1.1 million Russian soldiers and civilians dead, and about 850,000 Axis casualties.
My gosh, that many people in one battle?
The Germans started their attack by shelling the city with artillery, killing hundreds of unevacuated civilians. And the tragic amount of civilian casualties could have been avoided if the Russian military had evacuated the city's residents instead of saving the grain and cattle stored in the city. This was done in the belief that the civilian presence would make the Soviet soldiers fight harder. The Soviet army responded by moving planes into attack, but they were completely outclassed by the German Air Force and destroyed. The main German force moved into the city to start taking the middle and block access to the Volga River. This urban environment was a very unique battleground, and it led to fierce close-quarters combat that rendered tanks and normal strategies useless. As fighting continued, the Russian military lost control of the middle of the city to the Nazi forces. The German forces pushed into the middle, leaving two smaller Axis groups to guard their flanks as they fortified the area. The Russians' military responded by taking out the two weaker forces guarding the German flanks and surrounding the city. The Germans could have pushed out of the city and retreated, but Hitler refused to allow any of his forces to retreat under any circumstance, so they were all taken as prisoners of war. And now back to you.
Thank you. We wanted to get the Russian general, Vasily Chuikov's input, but he couldn't be here to be interviewed, so he left us with one statement. The heavy casualties, the constant retreat, the shortage of food and munitions, the difficulty of receiving reinforcements, all of this had very bad effect on morale. Many longed to get across the Volga to escape the hell of Stalingrad. It's easy to understand why, as the fight had begun on August 23rd and lasted well into the Russian winter, whose highest temperatures that year were as low as negative 21 degrees Celsius. We were able to get a statement from one of the German soldiers talking about the cold. He stated, "My hands are done for, and have been ever since the beginning of December. The little finger of my left hand is missing, and, what's even worse, the 3 middle fingers of my right one are frozen. I can only hold my mug with my thumb and little finger. I'm pretty helpless. Only when a man has lost any fingers does he see how much he needs them for the smallest jobs. The best thing I can do with this little finger is to shoot with it. My hands are finished." As of now, we're not entirely sure, but a lot of our sources say that even though the city did pose some strategic value to the Germans, it was nowhere near important enough to warrant this scale of fighting. The main reason for attacking the city might have come down to the large amount of propaganda about the city because it was named after Stalin, whom Hitler hated. This has been the Lightning War Podcast, and thank you for tuning in this February the 3rd. See you next time.